Okay, so how do I pass my first year of law school, right? In your third month in law school, you're feeling anxious and you're just asking yourself, okay, how am I going to pass my first semester of law school, yet alone my first year in law school, right? I'll put in all this effort, but yet I'm very anxious of knowing how to do it. So anyways, my name is Prince Sefa-Boakye. I am a law student at Sefa-Boakye University, as well as a student entrepreneur and CEO of livelikeanentrepreneur.com. So going back to the question, how do I pass my first year in law school? Well, lucky for you, I'm a 2L student, so I took some time today to give you kind of 3 tips on how to pass your first year in law school. Okay? 1 is this: turn in your homework assignments on time. Okay? For your legal memorandums, for your case synthesis, for anything, for everything, turn it on time. 2, know the cases. Know the cases well enough so you can actually memorize it and write it on exams. And then three is that aim to get a B or get a B on your exams, which then translates to getting a B in your classes, having a B average. Okay? So now I'm going to break it down for you. So let's go to number 1. So number 1 is turning your homework papers on time. I can't stress this enough, but please do turn in your memorandums and your case synthesis and those extra credit assignments. You know, the ones that really you don't have to do, but it can help your grade. Do it. Do it. Okay? And some people worry about, oh, you know, my punctuation's not that good, the grammar's not well. Just turn it in on time, get that credit, and then once it's graded and once it's edited by the professor, then you can have time to re-edit it. Sorry, revise it, edit it, and then turn it the second time. So that's 1. 2, know the cases. When I say know the cases, I mean that 9 to 10 times the professor will have the hypotheticals that will match the same fact pattern as the cases that you study. Okay, just with different characters. I mean, it's seriously, you know. Also, just a little tip out there: if you guys in civil procedure with Professor Glennon, almost 8 out of 10 times, you know, some of his exams come from his study guides. So, this little tip from you. So, anyways, 9 to 10 times the hypotheticals, the fact patterns come from the case that you studied. So, do that. Okay, and then third but not least is just get a B average. Just get a B on your exams, okay? Now you ask yourself, okay, how do I get a B? Well, I'm gonna help you out. So this is how you're gonna get a B in an exam. 1 is, like I said before, know the cases, okay? Know the cases so that they can help you write the analysis as well as kind of spot the issues. 2 is the IRACs: issue, rule, analysis, and conclusion. So be sure you do that, you know. But the most important, which is the third, is be sure, I can't stress enough, be sure in your analysis that you argue both sides, you know. And be sure it at least has enough meat on it so that they weigh equally. You know, don't have, you know, just imagine the scales, right? You don't want to have one scale that is much lighter than the other. You want to be equal. So be sure that each side has good arguments, so that a teacher or your professor will know, like, oh, okay, so you understand the concept. So be sure you argue 2 sides of the story, right? And yeah, that's how you get a B on your exam. And also, forgot to mention, is that time, that you manage to complete your exam on time, okay? Now you ask yourself, okay, all right, B is not good enough for me, Prince. I want an A, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you how you're going to get an A, all right? So how to get an A is that your analysis is on point, meaning that you not only you did not argue 1, but also 2 sides to it, and it's really, really tight. Now, to separate from the B paper to the A paper is that you include historical context. For common law, it's just filled with historical context, you know, as far as the New Deal, Depression, you know, strikes, etc. and so forth. So, historical context. 2, the judge's opinions, you know, even if you include the dissent opinions, that's an A paper. You know, you include that in your paper, and you let your professor know that, hey, I read it and understand it. So, historical context, judge's opinions, both concurrence and also dissent. And third but not least, in your conclusion, you actually argue policy changes. I know for me, in my property courses, there's a lot of laws out there, or case law, that argue for different policy exams. I mean, for policy changes. So what you want to do is, in your conclusion, is that take the time to kind of like argue your stance on a policy. Like let's say that for example, for negligence, right? You can argue that we should not have a law in place for negligent people, which is honestly not true, but argue those policy changes or argue those laws that were decided based on policies. Common law is a perfect example. Fundamental rights to privacy. So that's like an A paper, okay, or like an A in exam. Now you ask yourself, okay, so you got the A and the B, so now what will it take to get a C or worse, D or F, right? Well, for a C, and I kind of realized this, and don't panic if you get a C. Don't panic. It's not the end of the world. What I've learned is this: if you get a C below, that you got everything right except one or two things. One, you did not fully answer the question, but you didn't do fully a good job on your analysis. You only argued one side rather than two sides. So that's the difference between a B and a C, is that you only argued one side rather than two sides. And then also time. I realized that for one class, I knew everything, but what was really hurt me was that I did not have enough time to complete my answer. If you got accepted to law school, you're smart enough, okay, to get an A or a B on these exams. But the thing is, you have time constraints, and that can really hurt you. So what I would say is be sure you manage your time. That's probably the reason most people get C's in their class, because they don't have time to complete the essays or even the multiple choice. So I really urge you guys to really manage your time wisely. Time's the essence. So again, how you get a C in your exam is, one, you did everything except you did not argue the other side, or you just left out one analysis or one side of the story instead of two sides. And three, you didn't have time to complete the exam. So then anything below is basically you did not do the readings and you're just totally lost. Like for example, this is one example I did. To get a D on your exam or an F, you talk about the right of privacy as one of your legal bundles of rights in property. That will definitely give you a D or F. So if you mismatch the topics, you start to talk about right of privacy and property rights, you kind of messed up on that. Or even torts. So anyways, so those are my tips for you guys. So again, 3 again is turn your homework papers on time, know the cases, and then 3, just aim for a B. Get a B on your exams and you pass your first year in law school. Solid. And if you get a C, don't cry, okay? You maybe cry a little bit, but don't cry. It's not the end of the world, okay? You pass. Just be happy that you did. Most people wouldn't pass. So, and then also, most importantly, guys, believe in yourselves. Just believe in yourselves, I think the biggest thing is that people don't have the stamina, if not the confidence, to go in those exams and just rock it. So have the confidence, have the courage to go in those exams and just do well, be confident enough to know the cases and just be confident enough that you do well. So have confidence in yourself, believe in yourselves. Otherwise, you'll pass your first year of law school. And when you do, let me know. I'll give you a nice high five or a nice little email of congratulations, because it's not that bad, guys. I did it, I survived, and now I'm in my second year of law school. Yeah, that's Suffolk Law. So anyways, guys, if you guys are curious about creating wealth and being an entrepreneur as well as a student, check me out at livelikeanentrepreneur.com. Also check out my political blog, which is princessdailyjournal.com. Everything will be down below. And until next time, guys, be good and stay classy and take care.